Welcome, crypto fam, and good morning. What it do? How many of you took advantage of the dip? Let me know. In today's show, Bitcoin price taps 3-week lows as the SEC fears liquidate literally $250 million of crypto longs. That's right, we'll also be discussing Ethereum price risking a 20% correction amid the SEC's crackdown on crypto staking. That's right, meanwhile BlackRock, the world's largest asset manager, is getting into Bitcoin. They bought 7.4% of Marathon and 7.2% of Silvergate. Also in today's show, SEC's Hester Peirce blasts the agency's attack on Kraken's crypto staking platform. And after Kraken, these crypto companies could be targeted next by the SEC. I'll be breaking this down for you. Also in today's show, Mississippi Senate passes a bill to protect crypto miners from discrimination, which is definitely a great sign. Also in today's show, ancient Bitcoin whale moves $9.6 million in Bitcoin at a whopping 181% profit in sudden awakening. And quoting the late great Hal Finney, Bitcoin has the potential to become the dominant currency for large-scale electronic transfers worldwide. If this happens, Bitcoins could be worth millions of dollars each. I see the recent increase in value as a rise in the consensus probability that Bitcoin will succeed. I'll also remind you it was 12 years ago today, Bitcoin smashed $1. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. All this, plus so much more, in today's show. And welcome everyone just tuning in. This is pod episode number 1190 of Crypto News Alerts. I am your host JV. Today is February 10th and we're witnessing a nice little correction in the market. As you can see here on your screen, you got Bitcoin pulled back about 4% on the day, currently trading at 21,800. We have Ether down 5.6%, maintaining above 1,500, and just massive losses in the overall crypto market. And checking out coinmarketcap.com, we can see the crypto market cap barely holding on to that $1 trillion milestone with about 69 billion in volume in the past 24 hours, with the current Bitcoin dominance at 41.4%, with the Ether dominance at 18.6%. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers in the past 24 hours, we got Mina leading the pack, up about 5%, trading at 90 cents, followed by Hedera, up 7%, trading at 7.7 cents, followed by Rocket Pool, up 8%, trading above 48 bucks. Below that, we have Nexo and Loopring. And checking out the top 100 crypto gainers for the past week, finally, the bulk of the alts back in the red and correcting, with a handful in the green, including AGIX up 92%, GRT up 64%, and Hex up 42%. And checking out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, we're currently rated a neutral 48. Yesterday was a 55, and last week a 60 in greed, and last month a 26 in fear. How many of you, again, seized the moment and took advantage of the current dip? Let me know in the comments below. Now let's dive into today's Bitcoin technical analysis and check out some of the charts. Bitcoin fell to bearish target zones February 10th as the bulls failed to hold important support above 22 Gs, which you can see here in the Bitcoin one-day candle chart. Data from Cointelegraph Market Support and Trading View showed Bitcoin dropping to 21.6 on Bitstamp, and Bitcoin reached badly the regulatory fears from the US, but had already faced the days of bearish sentiment, with traders expecting a retest of 21,000 or even lower. Now, quoting crypto analyst Mikhail Bendey-Pop, bear market back, or are we just having a slight correction? Which camp are you in? What are your thoughts? Let me know below. Some were busy with short positions as the Bitcoin price action conformed to expectations, with popular trader Crypto Tony eyeing 21.4 as a potential bounce zone should losses continue to materialize. Quoting him here, profit coming in nice on the short, and my next target is the support cluster at 21.4. If we see a retest of 22.3, then this could be your chance to get in upon a failed retest. Now, those remaining in long positions thus felt intense pain overnight. According to data from data resource CoinGlass, long liquidations of Bitcoin alone totaled $64.6 million for February 9th. And On-Chain College, a contributor to analytics platform CryptoQuant, noted that these included $24.3 million in a single hourly candle, the most since the FTX crash in early November 2022, which you can see right here. Now, looking beyond the immediate price performance, fellow CryptoQuant contributor, venture founder, focused on whether the macro bottom was really in for the King Crypto. If Bitcoin would have preserved the 200-day moving average near 20,000 or even 19,000 as support, he argued on the day, it may be more significant implications for the price action. Bitcoin saw a 2 years low of just under 16,000 in the FTX aftermath. I think think the current low is 15.7, which at the time sparked mass calls for a trip to 12,000. In fact, many analysts were calling for 8,000 or even lower, quoting a venture founder here, a retest of 19 to 20,000, which is the 200-day moving average, would be a very appropriate here, and a further post argued that holding the 19 to 20,000 level during this correction would be the first confirmation that 16,000 was the Bitcoin bottom. So there you have it. How many of you are in the camp that the bottom is currently in at 15.7 for this cycle? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now let's discuss a potential Ethereum crash of 20%. That's right, check it. Ethereum's native token Ether saw its worst daily performance of the year as the US SEC stopped Kraken, a crypto exchange, from offering crypto staking services. February 9th, Kraken agreed to pay $30 million to settle with the SEC's allegation that it broke the security rules by offering crypto staking services to US retail investors, all in the name of protecting investors, aka preventing them from making any money, right? They prefer us to make virtually zero interest with the banks. But in particular, the news pushed down the prices of many proof of stake blockchain project tokens. Ethereum, which switched to a staking-based protocol in September of 2022, obviously suffered. February 9th, ETH price plunged nearly 6.5% to around $1,500, the largest single-day decline since December 16th of last year. So the SEC's crackdown on crypto staking begins as Ethereum awaits the release of its key network upgrade dubbed Shanghai, which is set to be released in March. The update will finally allow Ether validators, entities that have locked approximately $25.6 billion worth of Ethereum tokens in Ethereum's proof of stake smart contract, to withdraw their assets alongside their yield rewards. And as a result, multiple analysts, including Bitwise Asset Management's chief investment officer, Matt Hogan, considers Shanghai a bullish event for Ether. Quoting him here, today, many investors who would like to stake ETH and earn yield are sitting on the sidelines. After all, most investment strategies can't tolerate the indefinite lockup, so most investors stay out of the market. But once the indefinite lockup is removed, the percentage of investors willing to stake their ETH will explode. But doubts have been emerging about the future crypto staking in the US, with Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase crypto exchange, fearing that the SEC would ban staking for retail investors in the future. Quoting Armstrong, we're hearing rumors that the SEC would likely get rid of crypto staking in the US for retail customers. I hope that's not the case, as I believe it would be a terrible path for the US, as if that was allowed to happen. And lo and behold, within 24 hours later, the crackdown was launched by the SEC against Kraken. So some analysts argue that banning Ether staking services will force users to move away from Ethereum. What do you think? Notably, Ethereum requires stakers to deposit 32 ETH, valued at 50,000, into a proof of stake smart contract to be a validator, and as a result, retail investors often use third-party staking services that pool smaller amounts of ETH to enable validator status. Quoting Ripple Van Winkle, if the SEC bans crypto staking for the public, then a majority of Ethereum validators will have to come down, he argues. Now, from a technical perspective, Ether's price is positioned for potential 20% price correction in February. Notably on the daily chart, which you can see here, the ETH price has been undergoing a pullback move after testing its multi-month ascending trend line as resistance. It's now holding the 200-day exponential moving average, which is the blue wave you can see in this chart, near $1,525 as support. And you guys let me know how many of you are currently bullish on Ethereum, or vice versa. Are you more bullish on Bitcoin during this time? Ether risks dropping below the 200-week moving average support wave owing to its negative market fundamentals. Such a scenario includes the next downside target at $1,200, which coincides with the multi-month ascending trend line support. So there you have it. Do you feel that Ether can likely pull back to that $1,200 range? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments right down below. And now let's break down our next story of the day. SEC's Hester Peirce blasting the agency's attack on Kraken's crypto staking platform. That's right, the SEC Commissioner Hester Peirce blasted the agency's decision to attack the crypto exchange Kraken, forcing the company to eliminate its staking program and literally pay a $30 million fine. How many of you feel this is completely unjust? Let me know your thoughts thoughts? In an official letter of dissent, Peirce says that the SEC's repeated attempts to regulate the industry through enforcement are bad for the average American investor. I agree here 100%. Quoting her, today the SEC shut down Kraken's staking program and counted it as a win for investors. I disagree and therefore dissent. Instead of taking the path of thinking through staking programs and issuing guidance, we again chose to speak through an enforcement action purporting to make clear to the marketplace that a staking as a service providers must register and provide full, fair, and truthful disclosure and investor protection. Number one, using enforcement actions to tell people what the law is an emerging industry is not an efficient or fair way of regulating. And number two, moreover, staking services are not uniform, so one-off enforcement actions and cookie-cutter analysis does not cut it. And accusing companies in the emergent industry of wrongdoing, launching legal action, enforcing settlements instead of offering clear guidelines is parentalistic and lazy, says Peirce. Most concerning, though, is that our solution to a registration violation is to shut down entirely a program that has served people well. The program will no longer be available in the United States, and Kraken is enjoined from ever offering a staking service in the U.S., registered or not. A paternalistic and lazy regulator settles on a solution like the one in this settlement. Do not initiate a public process to develop a workable registration process that provides valuable information to investors. Just shut it down. And although she is open to increased corporate transparency, Peirce says it is now clear that the SEC is flat out hostile towards the crypto industry at large. Agreed 100%, quoting her here. More transparency around the crypto staking programs like Kraken's might well be a good thing. However, whether we need a uniform regulatory solution and if that regulatory solution is best provided by a regulator that is hostile to crypto in the form of an enforcement action is less clear. So there you have it. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments right down below. With that being shared, now we're going to discuss our next story of the day. What are likely the next sitting duck targets for the SEC now that they have made it clear they're going after all of crypto staking in the United States? Well, let's discuss it. That's right. Let's scroll down to here, quoting Kraken CEO Jesse Powell. Bigger balance sheet wouldn't hurt either. They picked the bottom of the bear market, waited for us to do a 30% layoff. They have all of our financials, lots of leverage. Maybe we looked weak. This is more about FTX than it is us or staking, but the timing was not great. Very unfortunate. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler remarked that the action is meant to make it clear to the market that staking as a service provider must register. This has caused an uproar in the crypto industry and raised questions about who the SEC will target next. So let's discuss some of this speculation. Exchanges are not the only ones likely to be the focus of the new regulatory scrutiny, because at this point it's unknown whether proof of stake-based cryptos such as Ethereum will also be a focus of the SEC, and whether a securities classification for ETH is planned by the SEC now that they have switched from a proof of work to a proof of stake. At least the press release did not provide any indications in this regard, but meanwhile rumors say that more enforcement actions will be coming from the SEC. As Samuel Andrew reports, more exchanges and stablecoin issuers will receive Wells notices in the coming days and weeks. A Wells notice is a notification issued by regulators to inform individuals or companies of completed investigations where violations have been discovered. One rumor has already come to fruition. The New York Department of Financial Services is investigating stablecoin issuer Paxos. While the scope of the investigation is unclear thus far, Pax Dollar and Binance USD are among the company's stablecoins, which could be a part of the investigation. And on another note, Paxo denied the rumor that the U.S. Office of Comptroller of the Currency has asked the crypto company to withdraw its application for a full banking license. Quoting them here, to clarify speculation, Paxos has not been asked to withdraw its application for a national trust bank charter from the OCC, nor has it been denied the charter. Paxos continues to work constructively with the OCC. Another name Andrew learned from his anonymous source is Circle. That's right. The issuer of the second largest stablecoin on the market, USDC, could also face a Wells notice. That's right. So unfortunately, I think this is very bad for crypto adoption in the United States. And I think this is going to force a lot of crypto companies to relocate outside the United States. Why would you want to do business with the SEC ruling with an iron fist unjustly and with no clear regulations or guidance being provided for the crypto industry? Makes absolutely no sense, but the fact they don't want you investing in crypto, and I cannot put that any more clear, fam. So it is what it is. What are your thoughts? How do you feel the crypto crackdown will likely impact the overall crypto market for this year in 2023? Holla at your boy. With that being shared, now let's discuss some breaking news happening for Bitcoin miners in Mississippi, which is a great win for the Bitcoin miners. The American state of Mississippi is one step closer to protecting the rights of crypto miners after the state Senate passed the Mississippi Digital Asset Mining Act February 8th. There is a companion bill under consideration in the state House of Representatives. The Senate bill, authored by State Senator Josh Harkins, legalizes home digital asset mining and the operation of mining businesses in areas zoned for industrial use. There are already crypto miners operating in Mississippi, which have some of the lowest electricity rates in the country. However, the bill claims digital asset mining has often faced regulatory challenges at the state and local level. And in addition, the bill prohibits limiting noise from home mining beyond existing limits, imposing requirements on miners beyond those locally applied to data centers, or changing the zoning of a mining center without proper notification and an opportunity to appeal. It also prohibits the Public Service Commission, which regulates utilities, from imposing discriminatory rates on mining businesses and exempts homes and business miners from monetary transmitter status. Now, Mississippi is one of the states where the Satoshi Action Fund has been active, with CEO Dennis Porter speaking at a meeting of the Mississippi Senate Finance Committee back in January, where he mentioned the potential for crypto miners to use orphaned oil and gas wells as a power source. Pretty wild. Quoting him here, "It shall be legal in the state of Mississippi to run a node for the purpose of home digital asset mining and operate digital asset mining business." Now, both the Senate and the House bills mention orphan wells. The House bill would set up a state digital asset mining council that would consider the use of the wells as a mining power source and other issues throughout the year. The House bill has passed in Ways and Means Committee, but has not been debated yet on the House floor. Mississippi's legislation contrasts with the 2-year moratorium on crypto mining passed in New York and signed into law in November. I hope many other United States places follow suit with Mississippi. I think it's great to be protecting the Bitcoin miners, as they are very critical to the overall Bitcoin infrastructure, and this is great for mass adoption. With that being shared, now let's discuss our next story of the day, and that is before we get to this $1 million or multiple $1 million price prediction from Hal Finney, the late great, may his soul rest in peace. First, I want to discuss something else very interesting which caught my attention this morning, and that is ancient Bitcoin whale moves 9.6 million in Bitcoin at a whopping 181% profit in a sudden awakening. That's right. According to BitInfo charts, the address, which was last active October 2012, recently transferred 412 Bitcoins valued at over 9.5 million. At this time, Bitcoin was priced at about $12.50 when the wallet was created on October 1st, 2012, worth $22,600 at the time of writing. That Bitcoin is currently in 181%, 204% profit. But who's counting? The long dormant address moved the Bitcoin to 5 different addresses. 2 addresses received approximately 177 BTC each. Another 2 received 28 BTC each, and 1 received 0.12 BTC. The combined fee for the 5 multi-million-dollar transactions amounted to $2.84. Take that, central banks. And prior to the recent activity, the Bitcoin address had only recorded 4 transactions, all deposits spanning from September 28th of 2012 to October 1st of the same year. So talking about hodling, what a great example. Imagine hodling your Bitcoin until you realize 100% gain, and my apologies, 182,000% gain is absolutely phenomenal. So much respect to the diamond hands. And with that being shared, now for the moment we've all been waiting for, let's discuss the late great Hal Finney. As I reminded you in the intro of the show, Bitcoin literally hit $1 for the first time 12 years ago today. Here is quoting the late great Hal Finney. Bitcoin has the potential to become the dominant currency for large-scale electronic transactions worldwide. If this happens, Bitcoin can be worth millions of dollars each. I see the recent increase in value as a rise in the consensus probability that Bitcoin will succeed, dated February 10th, 2011, literally 12 years ago today. What are your thoughts on the late, great Hal Finney's prediction? When do you feel this will likely materialize and turn into fruition? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Now, if you're not familiar with Hal Finney, here's the man, the myth, the legend himself. I'm going to be sharing with you some of his greatest quotes, which are so inspiring. Here we go. Since we're all rich with Bitcoins, or we will be once they are worth millions of dollars like everyone expects, we ought to put some of this unearned wealth to good use. Amen. And regarding Bitcoin mining, mining should not be too profitable because nothing should be too profitable. The world doesn't leave free money lying around. Therefore, the price of Bitcoins can't rise too much above the cost of mining, counting equipment depreciation among the cost, of course. And he ultimately also notes, ultimately, it's good for the network for mining to be expensive. It makes it that much harder for a well-financed attacker to dominate the network. Exactly. Now, another very interesting quote. It is very strange, really, that we all see good chance that Bitcoins will hit $1 in the relatively near future. How many investments can be expected to triple in value in that time frame? Is gold going to be $3,500 anytime soon? Nope. Apple stock going to triple? Maybe Facebook, if you can get some. That seems like a pretty sure thing. We are really lucky to be in at the beginning of a possibly explosive new phenomenon. Considering the odds against most money tripling investments, Bitcoin looks like a good place for a percentage of your portfolio. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Hal Finney. I'll give you another quote here. The danger is if people are buying Bitcoins in the expectation that the price will go up and the resulting increased demand is what is driving the price up, that is the definition of a bubble. And as we all know, bubbles burst. I see Bitcoin as ultimately becoming a reserve currency for banks, playing much the same role as gold did in the early days of banking. Banks could issue digital asset with greater anonymity and lighter weight and more efficient transactions. And I'll leave you with one more. My apologies. There's so many here, but this was back in March of 2011. The computational power of the network is proportional to difficulty, and it appears that difficulty is proportional to Bitcoin price. It follows that unless Bitcoins become substantially more valuable than they are today, the Bitcoin network will never be substantially more resistant to attack than it is today. For Bitcoin to succeed and become secure, Bitcoins must become vastly more expensive. Preach. And with that being shared, now let's dive into the live Q&A and read all of your comments out loud. Appreciate everyone here. Of course, naturally in the live chat. Good morning, Pezza. Thanks for tuning in extra early today. I know I'm early today, earlier than usual. We got Stiff Spliff. Welcome, Tough Cookie, Matthew C. Coin Father in the building. Buy the dip. Appreciate the reminder. I'm going to scroll to the top of the chat. First and foremost, Lawrence Abramoff. As always, I appreciate your super chat contribution. You're a way too kind family. Much love. We'll definitely be streaming in, driving home from the gym. I just appreciate you putting it in and still tuning in at the same time. You're amazing. Satwise Jank says, on my second day driving to Florida myself, I'll be pulling in tonight. To anyone in the Estero area, hit me up if you want to connect over the next month. What's a city close to Estero? Because I am from Florida and I don't know where that is. Is this close to the Miami area? Is it on the West Coast, the East Coast, the North, the South? Let us know. Maybe we'll get some people to link up with you. Dan Drummond, good morning, family. Always an honor. Satwise says bottom is definitely in. This is just a healthy retrace. I think you're right. I think there is a greater probability of the bottom being in as well. Coinfather says this year could be able to buy proof of stake ETH for under 1,000. Very probable. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be interesting to see. How many of you think Bitcoin likely to outpace Ether this cycle? As the previous two cycles, Ether clearly outpaced Bitcoin, but things can change. We're in uncharted territory, especially with the consensus, the crackdown from regulators, the proof of stake change, and all of this stuff playing a major factor. No stock markets haven't bottomed until they have. Then it will conclude that Bitcoin has bottomed. Right on, Coinfather. Matthew says, I agree with Satwise. I've been saying bottom is in for a couple of months unless a black swan. And we all know that anything is possible, so be prepared for all scenarios. Yeah, I could be wrong, but it's still at 70% probability of testing lows, says Coinfather. I do love the movement action this year so far to make a nice swing trade. That's right. I don't think many of us were anticipating a 40% rise in January, which was the greatest percentage increase for the King crypto for the past decade. You know what I mean? So that's pretty phenomenal. I don't think we get a new low, says Matthew, under 15.7. I could see a retrace to 18 or maybe even 16.2, but the bottom is in my honest opinion. I think all the paper hands were already shook by the dip, says ETH Addict. Are we talking about the ETH dip, the Bitcoin dip, or just the overall crypto dip? Because there's no such thing as a halfway crook except Gensler. Thanks for the Mobb Deep reference to that classic. Exactly. Ain't no such thing as halfway crooks unless your name is Gary Gensler. Love it. Morning, fam. Good morning. Gensler needs to be fired. Completely agreed. I couldn't think of a bigger disgrace to be representing the SEC. Why don't we make Hester Peirce the freaking chairman of the SEC? She at least understands what's going on with the corruption and collusion. You know what I mean? It's like now that FTX imploded, they're going after all of the good actors, and they implanted the bad actor, which is SBF. This was an inside job, so I'll say it again. SBF and, you know what I mean, FTX, Alameda, all inside jobs, just like 9/11. Deja vu all over again, fam. Bitcoin Trini, good morning. Good to see you. Always a pleasure. We have Killas. Why don't you ever cover Hex and Pulse Chain? My focus is Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe one day we will discuss Hex. I don't know. I'd have nothing against it personally, but the focus is always the King crypto, and I focus on the top cryptos. I know Hex has had pretty tremendous gains, so I'm not discounting it whatsoever, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? Michael Volkman, good morning, JV and Crypto News Alerts fam. Tampa is my hometown, says Tough Cookie. Same here. I fly into Tampa International. I lived in Clearwater before moving here to Puerto Rico, about 15 minutes from the airport. I love the Tampa Bay area. I love Clearwater, love Florida, love the warm weather. Great place to be. Pezza says, don't forget to smash the likes and leave a comment after refreshing at the end of the stream. Greatly appreciate that. Thanks as a reminder, as it greatly helps out with the YouTube algorithm to help us get more attention on the show so more people can tune in and learn about Bitcoin and, you know, the overall crypto markets. Coinfather says, fam, heading up near Lake Superior now for the weekend. Stack stats. Thanks for the reminder. Safe travels, family. And yeah, good morning to you as well, Michael. I appreciate you tuning in live. And once again, I know I'm pretty extra early today. Tomorrow's actually my birthday. I share a birthday with my daughter on February 11th. So looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to seeing many of you this weekend. Of course, I will still be here broadcasting live as I always am. Trini says, love Florida. I lived in Miami twice. I'm going to Miami. Last time I was in Miami was last year's Bitcoin conference. Good times. Using their pawn, SBF, as an excuse to attack the entire space. Bingo. You nailed it, Boomer. You're a smart man. 100%. I feel that deep down in my soul. You know what I mean? That's how I honestly feel. SBF was a pawn that the regulation and corruption inserted into the crypto industry to basically make this mockery out of it, and they eventually collapsed, and now they're pointing the fingers at all the good actors. Kraken has been a pretty legitimate exchange. I don't think they're protecting investors whatsoever by destroying their ability to earn staking rewards of up to 21%. You know what I mean? And there's still no regulation. There's still no clear guidelines. And again, Hester Peirce nailed it, so I'm not going to repeat what she said, but it's a damn shame what they're doing to the United States, all by design, all by frickin' design, not by coincidence, my friend. You know what I mean? Sand Key is my school skipping spot in the 70s. Oh, word? That's what's up. That is what's up. Pezza, you then, and oh wow, a big fight this weekend as well. On my birthday tomorrow, Islam Makhachev is fighting Alexander the Great, Volkanovski. This is going to be a huge fight. You got the pound for pound best fighter in the world fighting number 2, and Volkanovski moving up in weight. So if he wins, he's going to be a double champ, but it's not going to be any easy feat to get past Islam, who is the current champ, I believe, at 145. Islam is the current champ at 155. Volk is the current champ at 145, and Volk is stepping up to try to become a double champ and make history alongside, Conor McGregor and DC, Daniel Cormier, and a few others. But I will be looking forward to that, as I like to watch the greatest fighters in the world compete. Who do you think is to win? My intuition is saying it's going to be a great fight, but I think Islam is going to overtake him on the ground. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Let me know if you guys will be tuning in as well. But nonetheless, with that being shared, now for a recap of what I covered with you. overview. Here in today's show, we discuss the latest Bitcoin technical analysis as Bitcoin price taps the 3-week low as the SEC fears liquidate literally $250 million of crypto longs. We also discuss the possibility of Ethereum correcting back down to like $1,200, which is a 20% correction amid the SEC's crackdown on crypto staking. We also discuss SEC's Hester Peirce blasting the agency's attack on Kraken's crypto staking platform and calling them out, as well as after Kraken, I shared with you the most likely companies which could be sitting duck targets next by the SEC. I also shared breaking news of Mississippi Senate passing a bill to protect crypto miners from discrimination. We also discussed an ancient Bitcoin whale moving $9.6 million in Bitcoin at a whopping $182,000 profit. And I share that because in the future, maybe you can anticipate the same thing if you hodl long enough. Also in today's show, we discussed the late great Hal Finney and his multi-million-dollar Bitcoin price prediction and a little tribute as Bitcoin hit literally $1 12 years ago on this day. But where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow.